Today on an all-new Credit Authority with Rhonda Kolch. Rhonda's highlighting entrepreneurs who give back. Featuring John Theissen, Dennis McGrath, Susie Petro, and Ryan Riddle. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Rhonda Kolch.
And welcome back to another episode of the Credit Authority. I am your host, Rhonda Kolch. And on this week's episode, we are speaking with entrepreneurs that support our Long Island community. And it would be unfair to speak about amazing work that happens every single day without speaking to our first guest, Mr. John Theissen. How are you?
How are you?
So I love, first of all, you have great energy, right?
I do.
You've been on the show before. It's 50 questions about John Theissen. So let's start from the beginning,
Okay.
right? I know your story.
Okay.
But share your story with the people that are watching today.
So my story is, I'll go quick. My story is when I was...
No, take your time.
Take my time.
Take
we
your
have
time.
all day. Okay.
We have all day.
My story is when I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school and I was having headaches. And back in 1988, I'll age myself. I'm 50 today. And it turned out that I had a brain tumor. And I had to be hospitalized that holiday season in December during Christmas, Hanukkah, and all the holidays in a children's hospital at Schneider's Children's Hospital, which is now Cohen's. And it was so traumatizing for me because here I am 17 years old and I remember walking up to the hospital with my mom and saying, why do I have to be with kids? They're gonna give me coloring books and treat me like I'm 17 years old, I'm a senior and they did just that. They gave me a welcome package which had a coloring book and crayons. And I remember getting out on the floor and I happened to be on the oncology floor. They wanted me on the surgical floor, but it was overbooked, but I was on the oncology floor and I was so traumatized. I mean, all of a sudden I come out of the elevator and I see kids that are bald and missing their hair and looking really, sick and ill. And there was this one girl in particular, her name was Tasha, who was 7 years old, and she took a liking to my family, and her family was never around to support her. And it was really sad, and nobody would ever visit her, and she was 7 years old, and I had to have 10-hour brain surgery, and it was during that time that Tasha would ask my mom, when's John coming up? When's he coming up? Where is he okay, etc. And she was it was weird that she took to my room and I think about it now and it was, she was like an angel to me because they were having a holiday party where Santa Claus was gonna be there. All the kids were gonna spend time with their family and my mom took her down and she was upset I couldn't go down. And it was her time to go up to Santa Claus and they went to hand her a teddy bear and she says, I wanna give it to my friend upstairs to make him feel better. And that was me, and it's just unbelievable. This was a 7-year-old girl who had absolutely nothing and was giving up her gift, and this was in 1988, and I had to go through surgery and radiation and a lot of different things. In 92, I started as a holiday toy drive.
Which I love. So, most people know your name, but they don't necessarily identify your name with your story.
Right.
Which is, I think, so important because there's so many amazing people in the not-for-profit, space that are under-recognized, for the work that they do. So we know that every year you do this enormous event. Tell us a little bit about your first event and how you've matured over the years and what it is today.
Sure, when you say the event, the toy drive?
The toy drive.
Yeah, so basically, we are a year-round organization, but from 92 when I used a typewriter to type up a letter and walked from house to house and didn't have the power of social media, none of us did, or cell phones or anything like that.
Did you have a pager?
Not then, no. I had nobody to page me. And
I remember the pager.
And of course I remember the pager. So it's grown into this year-round organization, but our toy drive, I'm sitting here and we're getting ready for our 30th annual holiday toy drive, which collects and distributes new gifts and funds to children across Long Island. And I just, with the whole Long Island thing, I knew that there are kids in different states and countries that need our help. And I love children. I would do anything for kids, but there are so many kids in our own backyard that need our help. And until I can continue and be able to help out all those children, that's where I'm staying on Long Island. And last year, even during COVID year, we collected and distributed over 85,000 gifts. And that's low. The year before, we did 103,000 gifts in November and December.
Which is amazing. So now we know that you do your toy drive.
We do.
But we know that your experiences came from the medical side.
Right.
Do you segregate, how the toys are distributed, or is it just based on the fact that you were a child in need?
No, it's basically like we hear from social workers and caseworkers and whatnot, and they put in all requests. And I mean, right now it's we have requests like this, and it's just nonstop and everything. And like if it's an individual family that reaches us out to us, then everything has to go through a social worker to verify everything. And it's such an amazing complex process for 2 straight months. I mean, we have calls nonstop. We have letters, and they still get faxes, and they're asking for what they're looking for. But it's just a process. It's just a process, and that's what my life has become. I mean, I'm still on 10 meds a day. I've had over 17 surgeries, but I'm so blessed to be doing what I do. We work with children year-round, and I do different fundraisers. And since I've started for 10 years now, a consultant business that runs fundraisers for celebrities and athletes. So it's all self-learned, and it's just awesome. It really is. I'm so blessed to be doing it.
It's a great experience. I know I run my event every year,
Yes.
Holiday Dreams. So this year for us will be our 12th, our 12th annual. And do you ever, I know, and I can say this, and I think it's fair to say that there are those times where you just feel burnt out. It doesn't matter what you're bringing to the table for somebody else. You just sometimes get burnt out. How do you handle, I know it can't be me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
No, I just, I get burnt out with life itself. I mean, I'm on, like I said, being on 10 meds, there are days where I get in depressions, and people don't realize that because they think I'm this outgoing guy, but I fall into depressions all the time. I mean, I still battle my illnesses and whatnot, but as far as getting burnt out on the holiday toy drive and the foundation side is, you get to the point where you have to do it for the kids, and doing it for the kids for me is I can't be like, people always say you must feel so good about it. It's just, if I didn't do this, I would have been like, it's an automatic thing for me. So yeah, at times it's tough and stuff, but you think about the kids that are going through this. I mean, right now as we're talking, there are kids that in the hospitals that have HIV, that have cancer, that are on respirators, that are dying, and those are the kids that keep my spirit going.
When you talk about the children that are ill versus maybe children that are coming from shelters, is there a different way that you approach those families and how you handle their gift requests?
Different way is I want to make sure that if it's a legit request, and of course over 30 years we've had families and organizations try and scam us. I mean, we've had people make up fake letterheads, fake EIN numbers. It's really sad. But I want to make sure that the kids, I mean, in the past, I've dealt with grandparents and families that live in shelters and motels, and the kids have absolutely nothing. And I've offered them a TV or a video game, something really cool, and the kids just say they want a winter coat. I mean, it's really, really tough out there. So I really try and provide the children. They don't just get one gift. I really try and provide them with, 8, 9 gifts each.
That's like us on our side.
Yeah.
We call it more of an experience.
Yeah,
if we're
course.
taking the stress off of the plate of the parent, we want to make sure that that's exactly what we've done and that they don't have to supplement.
Of course, and if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. And it's not fair to these kids. And the one thing is like you can never get into judging anyone. You see some of the families that live in shelters, and they'll pull up in like an Escalade or something, but they're getting a ride, they're getting this, they're getting that, and no matter what's happening, it's not fair to the child. It's the children.
Because
innocent.
They didn't ask to be in that position.
Of course not, and it's so tough. I mean, I grew up thankfully with a lot of gifts and stuff, and these kids that wake up and they don't have anything during their holidays, it's heartbreaking. It really is, and it's something that I think about, and it keeps me up at night. It disturbs me.
We talk a lot about the holiday season, but you are all year round. What other things do you do in the other 10 months of the year?
Well, on a non-COVID year, we have a family fun center in Montauk that's loaded with high-def TVs on the wall, mounted with Xboxes and PlayStations. Now we got to get PlayStation 5s, and they're always changing these things because the kids don't want to play it. And we have arcade games, and we have a wish room. We have a family fun center where we actually give kids free parties, kids that can't afford birthday parties. So we generally run probably 50 to 60 parties a year when it's non-COVID time. And then we also provide wishes. We help families with transportation. A lot of kids get treated at different hospitals where their parents have to drive, especially in the city. We provide transportation back and forth to treatment so the families don't have to worry about that. We do a big back to school program that allows children to go back to school with all new clothes and school supplies and a backpack filled with school supplies. We do all kinds of things. My mission of my foundation is to help sick and underprivileged children in any capacity possible. I never wanted it to limit it.
I love it. Like, you're just so, I love having our conversations because, you know, it reminds me that there are good people like you out there that are providing for the people that need it the most. So,
but you know what? It's the good people that support me. It's the good people that support me. It's the good people that, like yourself, you have me on here. You want to talk about the story. It's not so much about me. It's you know, there's nothing else in my life that I would be doing. It's natural for me, but it's everyone who supports my foundation, everyone who makes out a donation, everyone who drops off a toy. Those are the good people.
I love it. So again, we are with John Theissen of the John Theissen Children's Foundation. How do they get to your website?
So they go onto a computer or a phone and they go jtcf.org. JTCF.org, and we team up during the holiday season, as I said, with BAB and BLI. They're big sponsors of mine.
I love it.
Yeah, JTCF.org.
So if you are looking to support a wonderful organization, not just this holiday season, but you want to learn more about how you could be a better person that supports your community, I'm sure John is always looking for amazing volunteers, but most importantly, please stay tuned. We have amazing lineup for today's show. I look forward to seeing you after our commercial break.